that? Like, what are some of the key messages from the book that you would want, people to get from reading,
Well, one of them obviously is the prevalence rate.
Right.
And one is not to overreact, but the other one is not to underestimate the importance. I do think we have to address the question that's often, it may not be posed exactly the way I'm going to say it, but I think the underlying message is, yeah, so what? And I don't think it's just insensitive. It's like, all right, that's going on, and what do you want me to do about that?
Right.
And I think it comes from two things. One is, most people I know, if they're by the time they get to my age, they've had at least one or two deaths they've grieved. Probably their parents, their grandparents. It may have been for some people a child, but they know they worked through it. And I think they've bought into this notion and people just work through this stuff.
Yeah.
Many people.
Or that like college students are just resilient, or.
Right. Well,
yeah.
there is that notion.
Yeah.
I've met several. This is not an exaggeration. Several people in their adult lives who were adolescents when they were bereaved, and truly felt they could have been helped if somebody had been there to talk to help them frame it. Somebody on the college campus who wasn't going to insist that they go on as though nothing has happened,
yeah.
and that you must take that test tomorrow. I don't
right.
care that you're not prepared. I don't give any extensions.
Yeah.
And I don't something in place that I don't have to go. I have 5 classes, 5 different professors. I have to go to each one.
Right.
And explain the story, and some of them I can just see don't believe me.
Yeah.
My daughter, in a 6-month period, both of her grandmothers died and an uncle died. And she's told me, people just, after the third one, they didn't believe. I mean, one person said, and how many grandmothers do you have? To which my daughter
terrible.
said, right now, none.
Right.
I mean, she was really angry.
Right.
So anyway, we put people in that position. So one of the messages I want them to get is there are students who need help. And universities have an obligation, and I think we have to start framing what that obligation is. And it's not going to come out of the fact that universities are going to do the right thing. It's the right. What we're going to have to appeal to universities is, it's in the best interests of a university to help students because you want to retain students, you want them to graduate, and if you help people who are suffering, and they know that you were there for them, they're going to be really loyal alumni.
Yeah.
I think the two things that...
And they'll graduate.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
And they'll be graduates of Brooklyn College or the University of Tennessee or wherever, and they will remember that when they were in need, you reached out.
Right.
But it's what's in the interest of the university, as you said, is for students to graduate.
Right.
Well, students who are bereaved, there is a good portion of them whose academic work just goes down the tubes.
Right.
And they don't think they should drop out. They should think they should grit it out.
Right.
And then they get further into the semester, and they're just not doing it. They can't concentrate. And they need the resources of the university to have some compassion.
Yeah.
And not to get themselves into an academic hole that they never recover from.
Yeah.
Or, well, I'm going to graduate now, but I won't be able to go to graduate school because I'm not anymore competitive. They won't understand this one semester I had where now
because
my
it
grade
could
point
affect their
average,
whole GPA.
I've gotten C's and D's now.
Yeah.
They're coping with important developmental transitions. Now, that's a really strange set of words, but it just simply means we expect people to decide what they want to do with their lives.
Right.
We expect them to form a stable, autonomous identity.
Yeah.
We expect them to engage in and have lasting the skill to have lasting, intimate friendships. I think getting bereaved has a deep influence on how you understand reality,
right.
how you understand other people, the risks you're willing to take. There's one thing I've learned, and I'm willing to test this. I have yet to find a single person who's coped with bereavement who's afraid to be in the same room with somebody else who's suffering.
Yeah.
I don't find that true with people who haven't been bereaved. People who haven't been bereaved, on the whole, flee.
They get uncomfortable.
Not only do they become anxious, they either change the subject or leave the room.
Yeah.
And I have yet to find that with anybody who's coped with bereavement.
Yeah.
They seem to have gotten some kind of grit
from it. Yeah.
And they know they don't have to fix, Chris, I don't have to fix your problem.
Yeah.
But when you tell me your sister's died, I can say, well, tell me about her.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, you think the Yankees are going to win the pennant?
Right.
Yeah.
Changes. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.